This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hello and welcome to Season 5 of the NFL season. Our show 6. This is the Coach Fantasy Zone, where we give you all the advice that we think for fantasy football. Some good, some outrageous, but do what you want with them. Hopefully you win your fantasy matchup. I'm the host, Big B, along with my co-host, halfway around the world, Mr. Primus, Tim Hendricks. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. I'm starting to think I shouldn't listen to half the things I say on the show because, and that's not necessarily true. I did go 4-0 last week. I got lucky in one game that I had to come back on. It's been an interesting season just on the fantasy wise. There's some people in our league and that are on this channel that aren't so happy with the league and with the way their fantasy's going. And Bacon and I had a conversation on Sunday on Morning Tailgate, especially in our league. Do you know there are two people in our league that have 4 bye weeks?
Yeah, I don't know how that was set up or why, because we got the same amount of teams. I don't know.
Yeah, you and I have a bye week, only 1 bye week. Everybody else either has 2 to 4.
Really? Huh.
Yep.
I don't know. Well, it happens. We didn't catch it right away, so we can't change it. This is the way it happens. I don't know, but at least it's not for money. It's for bragging rights. Vegas Skittles, maybe. I don't know. But with that being said, you went 4-0. I think I went 3-2 on a couple. I just needed 0.9 points on the Monday night game from A-Chain to win that game, and I think I got it. So safe to say. But with that being said, any big surprises week 3 or week 4?
Week 4. Who was the big one that I wasn't expecting? Addison. I would say Jordan Addison because I had him. The thing is, that's the thing is you don't know if he's starting, and then when all of a sudden you hear he's starting, it's too late. And I left a whole bunch of points on the board, and I'm not too happy. Jaden Daniels proving me right again, which is really nice to see. Wish I had Jaden Daniels. I'd be playing a whole lot better. But
I'm on a bye week this week.
I think. What's that?
I'm on the bye week this week. Okay.
Not me. I got Sarge this week.
Yeah. Ooh. Anyways, you say about Jordan Addison?
I wasn't expecting. What did he have? 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, one receiving.
Yeah. You have him in our league, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
You still won, though.
Yeah, I still won. I wasn't that I would have won by more. It would have been a little more comfortable than trying to figure how I'm going to win this game by being as far back as I was.
You got 3 quarterbacks on your roster.
I traded for I've been trying to trade out of one. I've been trying to trade. I'll be honest. I've been trying to trade out of Jared Goff.
No, you don't have S in our league.
No. Now that I see it, I don't.
Yeah, but yeah, it's tough watching those. I had that problem with back in the day with Chad Johnson. I play him, he does nothing. I don't play him, he goes for 25, 2 touchdowns. And then you play him, he doesn't do nothing.
Right.
But yeah, it is what it is. You still won, hopefully, in the league that you had Addison in, but it is tough to see that 20, 30 points sitting there on the bench when.
Oh yeah, I had, like I said, I went 4-0, so I had Addison in 2 leagues, and I had doubled up with Jefferson in 1 league. So
for me, week 4, what surprised me? I guess just the Browns Jets game really wasn't a great game. The battle that the Steelers are putting up. Caleb Williams looks like he's somewhat figuring it out, but I still don't know if I would feel safe starting him. Kansas City, where are they going to go now? I know there have been rumors to be talking with Oakland. Oakland, like you pointed out in our chat, is actively shopping.
They won't send him to. They won't send him to Kansas
Well,
City.
they won't send him there, but they. I guess they wouldn't. But the price is going to be right, and if I'm Oakland or Las Vegas, if KC wants him, they're going to pay a big chunk for him.
Right.
Devontae Adams. That's what I was thinking of. I couldn't think. Outside of that, yeah, nothing. No team really surprised me. Really, Ravens. Maybe Ravens sticking it to the Bills like they did, kind of.
Commanders.
But it sounds like they're finally figuring it out with Henry. So,
well, the other thing is the thing that confused me completely is that the Commanders, Commanders put up 41 points. Like I said, it's the Jaden Daniels thing again. It's I didn't see that one coming because on Sunday during the morning tailgate, I took the Cardinals because I thought the Cardinals were going to beat them.
Yep.
And next thing I know, you realize that if you think about it, the Commanders have I think a 2-game lead in the NFC East.
Well, there's a lot of shocking teams. Yeah, Jaden Daniels, 26 of 30, 233, a touchdown, a pick, but he also ran one in. They got done on the ground, 4 rushing touchdowns. So, speaking of surprises, I think the big surprise for me is Goff going perfect. I think that was, him minus a flag for an interception that got overturned or called back. He was 18 for 18, 292, 2 touchdowns, no picks. So he's definitely gone from god awful to you might be starting him more often than not. So
right.
Yeah. So yeah. So Lions in the thick of things right there. So all right, let's get into it. Thursday games tomorrow. I'll get on the right week, Brandon. All right. So we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Atlanta Falcons. Bucs 3-1, Atlanta 2-2. Tim, for the Buccaneers, who do you have playing?
For the Buccaneers, I've got until they show me different. I'm starting Baker. I'm probably not going to start White quite yet. Evans, I'm going to start. Godwin, I'm going to start. And I can never remember their defensive or their tight end. Probably Otten. Yeah, I'd start Otten too. Yeah, I like that defense against Atlanta as well, and the kicker.
Yeah. For me, I'm with you. This is like you said backstage. This is kind of where we're getting into bye weeks now. So you gotta probably this is where people win their seasons on trying to find who's going to start, who's not going to start. Yeah. So this week, I think you start pretty much everybody on the Atlanta side of the ball if you have them. Baker's been playing out of his mind. He's earning that contract. Irvin, the running back, I think you start him. If you got White probably wouldn't be a bad flex position, except he hasn't gotten a touchdown yet, so that might be
Sigma.
Where I don't start, Godwin, Irvin definitely start. You say Otten, you start. On the Atlanta side, for me, it's kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde game. Cousins has 4 interceptions, 4 picks. I don't know. I mean, if I had got to start him, I probably would, but I better make sure I have one of his receivers handy, London or Mooney. He hasn't found Pitts that much lately, which is really strange because in Minnesota, that's all he could find was the short tight ends and the short routes. You start Robinson, I believe. Hopefully he comes out, has a coming out party soon. Because looking at their stats, they only have 1 rushing touchdown right now, and in 4 games. So they got to get that running game going. But again, in Minnesota, Cousins never had a running game. The defense, I don't know if I'd start them where I don't, unless I really, really have to. The kicker's probably another safe start. What do you think on Atlanta?
I think I'm starting Cousins against the 13th ranked pass defense. Like you said, he hasn't done much with Pitts, which is a disappointment because Pitts was supposed to be this all world tight end when he came out of Florida, and he really hasn't gotten to where he needs to be. I start Drake London, like you said, with Mooney. I start Mooney too. I start Bijan Robinson against the 22nd ranked defense. I think it seems like it should be a no-brainer. The defense, not so much, because you're going against the number 9 passing offense. And Baker's been just dealing with a hot hand. I think you definitely start the kicker because that kid's been kicking out of his skull too lately.
So we got Shardell, a friend of all the shows. How you doing, bud? We're doing good. Tim over in Italy, it's not afternoon there; it's middle of the night for him. So he's got a couple questions. As a San Francisco fan, would love to see that. That would be something that Brock Purdy would probably love as a quarterback.
They're not going to be able to afford him because he's got a $37 million price tag next year.
But I don't know what they're going to do. Don't know where he would go, but I think there would be probably 28 to 29 teams that would not mind not having him.
I wouldn't mind it, but we just can't. We can't.
Yeah.
Do it.
Thoughts on Pete Rose passed away. If you caught our early show today, rank them. It was sad. It hit us both really hard. He should be in the Hall of Fame. I think MLB, would do the wrong in putting him in the Hall of Fame this one, but to have the all-time hit leader not in the Hall of Fame is a shame to the game. So, all right, so let's get into Sunday game. We got our first early start game. The New York Jets will fly over to London at 2-2, take on the Minnesota Vikings, who will roll their boats over there to London at 4-0. So, Tim, you're the Jets. What do you think on the Jets?
Right now Aaron Rodgers is questionable. I don't know if I'm starting Aaron Rodgers. I might start Breece Hall, but I don't know that's just I don't think I'm starting Breece Hall. Actually, probably the only team at this point, the only thing I would probably start, is the defense.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it.
I'm gonna disagree, not because it's my Minnesota Vikings, but I don't think you start anybody in this game for them. Maybe the kicker. Vikings defense is pretty much first all across the board. The offense is first across the board. Except for a couple of minor categories. I totally get that, but
no, and I would agree with you, but I'm looking at the stats. You guys are 28th in defense, 32nd in pass defense.
Yeah, I know. They're first in takeaways, though. They're first in sacks. Oh man, I don't. I guess if you gotta start Rodgers and a couple of his receivers,
I
being
would.
the bye week, I'd probably take the chance. Um, but on the Minnesota side of things, don't make the mistake. As long as Addison's healthy, he's going to start. Jefferson's a good start. Uh, who would have thought? We're about we're 5 weeks in. Who would have thought that Sam Darnold is a must start? In that defense. I mean, if that defense could play like they did first half all game long, that Packer game's not close.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you would take the pedal off the foot off the pedal. You keep pressuring them, you keep doing all that fun stuff. So I'm starting the defense, Jefferson, Addison. I'm still speculating on starting Jones, just the fact that they haven't really done much with them, but again, with the bye week starting up, Jones might be one of those sneaky plays where, okay, if he can get me a couple carries, 50 yards, and punch one in, then I'm golden. So, what's your thoughts on the Vikes side of things?
Yeah, I'm starting. I'm leery about Darnold, but this is a revenge game for Darnold. I like Darnold. I'm against. I'm not really. I'm going to disagree with you with Jones. I think you start Jones. You're going up against the 28th. I want to make sure I get the 20th rush defense in the league. Yeah, I think you're golden if you had Aaron Jones. I've heard that Hawkinson might be coming off the PUP list.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be playing though.
But I know they got 21 days before to take him off the list. But I think they was talking about a little bit about him lightly coming back to practice. I wouldn't start him if he was, because he'll be on a pitch count if he did. Yeah. I'm starting Darnold. I'm starting Jones. I'm starting the defense. Even like you said, even though I think the numbers got blown out of proportion because of that second half against the Packers.
Nope.
That kind of hurt the defensive numbers. I'm taking the defense against the Jets. I'm definitely taking Jefferson and Addison. I'm not making the Addison mistake for the second week in a row. I'm starting the kicker. If you got Vikings, I think this is a week where you just start throwing everything at the wall.
Yeah, Hawkinson's return date's the 6th, so I would not expect him to be available for this week. And like you said, if he does play, it'll be just a pitch count, just kind of get into the groove of things. But next week for sure, if everything goes healthy, I think. And that's the thing. Hawkinson, I mean, that's like bringing a guy out of getting a guy off of a trade or something,
right,
with his ability. So, all right, next game. Starting at noon, we got the Ravens 2-2 against the Bengals 1-3. Got that first win. Your thoughts on the Bengals? What do you think? Or I'm sorry, Ravens. Ravens and the whole team. What do you think on the Ravens?
It was like you gave me a reprieve there. Going, what do you think of the Bengals? No, go with the Ravens first. Okay. Yeah, you start Lamar. God, it just looked ugly last week what they did. You start Lamar. You start. I thought this was the last. I thought we were never going to be saying start Derrick Henry after the way it was going, and then all of a sudden Derrick Henry's now the leader in the clubhouse in rushing. I think you definitely start Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. I'm trying to make sure. I don't know if you want to start Bateman. I don't know. I start Isaiah Likely, the tight end.
Andrews has kind of fallen off there for some reason.
Yeah. You got the 15th best defense going against the 13th best defense. I think it's still the Baltimore Ravens. I think you still start the Ravens defense. I don't think you start Justin Tucker.
Wow.
I think he's been so hit or miss lately. He's not the Mr. Automatic like he used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with Lamar and Henry and Likely and Zay Flowers, maybe Rashad Bateman, the defense, but that's probably it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, it's not wrong if you don't start Tucker. It all depends on he's going to at least get you 3-4 points because he doesn't seem like he's missing extra points. Yeah, I'm with you. I think you start everybody. I think you got to start the defense because you still try to figure out what Cincinnati's like. I mean, they're not what we thought they were, quoted Dennis Green, but yeah. So I think you're on the boat. I think you're on the right track there for Cincinnati. Again with the bye weeks, you might play Burrow, Chase, the run game. I don't know if you touch the defense right now because again, Baltimore's kind of finding their groove. I think they found out what they could do with Henry, Lamar. I might stay away from the defense. The kicker's probably always a decent play, but I guess it all depends on if you figure last week was a mirage or something for the Bengals, or if it was just if that's the way they're going to be. So, what's your thoughts on the Bengals?
Yeah, I think I'm starting Burrow. You got the second best pass offense going against the 29th best pass defense. I think you start Burrow. I think you start at that point. You start T. Higgins. I think you start. I want to double check, make sure I get Jamar Chase. I'm not starting Zach Moss. I think the running game, they're 23rd in the league, going up against the number one team in the number one rushing defense. I think you kind of stay away from them. I agree with you. Don't start the defense. But I would start at this point. I would start Evan McPherson, their kicker. I think that's almost a guaranteed play at this point.
Yeah, he's almost getting up there to where he's kind of in Tucker. Game where you almost start him because it's hardly a time he misses.
Right.
Knock on wood. This will be the week that we say that he hardly misses and he goes out there and goes 0 for 4.
Yeah, and I've got. I think I have McPherson in our league. So
yeah. All right, next game we got your Indianapolis Colts at 2-2 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Probably the shocking of the unbeatens, or unwinnables, I guess. Jacksonville at 0-4. Tim, your Colts, I know, been battling some injury. You don't know who's going to play at quarterback, but what's your thoughts?
I right now I'm not even sure about. And the other thing is, I'm not even sure about Jonathan Taylor because he's got a high ankle sprain. I don't know. You've got Richardson with an oblique. I think you're going to hear more about what he's going to do Friday. If it's Joe Flacco, I think you start Flacco.
Wow.
I think that if it's Flacco, if it's Richardson, right now he leads the league in turnovers.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. And you're still going up against the 30th ranked defense against the. This is where defenses suck. If it's Flacco, I hope it's Flacco. Is that sad? But you also got to remember Indy's on a losing streak against Jacksonville at home. I think that was last time they won in Jacksonville was September 13th, 2014.
Okay.
I know I was there. I think you start. If Jonathan Taylor's playing, you start him. I don't trust the backups. I don't trust Trevor Sermon. I don't trust. I just don't. The tight ends for some reason don't play in Indy. I don't, and yet somehow Flacco found a tight end last week. I start Josh Downs. If Richardson's playing, start Pierce. If Richardson's not playing, don't start Pierce. I would start Downs no matter what because Flacco and Richardson both like looking at Downs. Pittman got probably a season high in receptions last week. I think he had 9. I think he complains, so he gets his after he gets it. I'm starting Matt Gay. I don't think I'm starting the defense.
Okay.
But I'm not answering.
Yeah, for me, on the Colts side, yeah, I think you're right. I think if Flacco start, you start him. If Richardson starting, you don't start him. But again, like you said though, if Richardson start, you start Pierce. So maybe if you have Pierce or Richardson, you start them together. Everybody else, like you said, I can't disagree. That defense, I think, the way Jacksonville's been played, I think that's a big start there. B start, A start, just because, Jacksonville just for some reason had not panned out the way certain people thought they were. So on Jacksonville side of things, this is, I guess if you got the defense and Richardson starting, I think I start the defense. I think I probably start the defense either way. Outside of that, I don't see a variable play because, like we said, I mean, this Jacksonville offense has not panned out and gone the way we thought they would. So I'm not playing anybody on that offensive side if I don't have to. Your thoughts?
Like you said, if Richardson's playing, I'd start the defense. There's only, truthfully, I think there's only one guy on the offensive side of the ball that I would start, and that's the rookie wide receiver, Brian Thomas.
Okay.
The kid, that kid's playing. That kid's already next level. He got drafted not where I think he should have been, but he's putting his names up there. He's putting his name up there with Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison already. Yeah, I think you start the defense, and I think you kind of start Thomas.
Okay. I will call back. All right. Next game we got is the Miami Dolphins at 1-3 versus the Patriots 1-3. All right. So with the Dolphins, who do you got on the Dolphins side of things?
Oh, do I start? Do you want to start Tyler Huntley after last week? I don't know. I'm still. It wasn't the world's greatest passing day for Tyler Huntley last week. I think you start A-Chain. You definitely start A-Chain at this point. You still start Tyreek Hill. You still start Jalen Waddle. It's that defense that's little – I don't know. Maybe you start against the Patriots. You start the defense. What am I looking? I forgot who they're playing the Patriots. Yeah, you start the defense against the Patriots. Considering you're the, what is this going to say, the fifth best defense? Yeah, you start the defense. And the kicker.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the defense and the kicker, A grade to play. Of course, A-Chain and Hill, Waddle. I guess, if you got them, you play them. You play A-Chain for sure because he's racking up almost 400 yards in the 4 games between catching the ball and running the ball. The other two, it just sucks that both of them are pretty much putting up the same amount of stats. So, who do you start, who you don't start, But I think if you got them, you play them, unless you got a better option. But I think out of the offensive weapons, I think A-Chain's a for sure start there. Patriots side of the ball, they're sitting at 1-3. I think you start the defense for sure because, again, Miami's out there signal caller. Sooner or later, they got to make a choice here with,
Drake
go
May?
with Mayo or not Mayo, go with May or stick with Brissett. Brissett's not putting up the numbers that a typical starter. 4 games, two touchdowns, 1 pick, but they've and they only got 2 rushing touchdowns. I know that's not on him, but I think sooner or later the Patriots, this ain't the Bill Belichick Patriots anymore. I think they got to sooner or later take their pride and just be like, you know what, we're going to start May and see what he can do. Outside of that, Stevens is probably your start on the offensive side. Outside of that, I don't think I got anybody else.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I said this 2 weeks ago that the Jacoby Brissett experiment was over,
Yeah.
and I think I might be going on a limb that we're going to be seeing Drake May by week 8. The Brock Purdy prediction at this point.
Yep.
I'm starting Stevenson. I may start. I think at this point, I think you start Hunter Henry, their tight end. The defense isn't a bad play. And again, if you're playing against a good defense, you kind of have to start the kicker. So I'm taking New England's kicker too.
Yeah. Okay. We got the Browns at 1-3. We got the surprising Commanders at 3-1. Tim, you're the Browns. What do you got? I know, tough choices.
I'm trying to figure out. I can't remember if Nick Chubb is supposed to be back this week or if he's going to be back for week 6. I think he's out. I still think he's not.
According to the report, he is not on the injury report.
Okay, so that means, but I would hold back a little bit on Nick Chubb because he's going to be at this point he's going to be on a pitch count. I think if you start the defense because you're still talking about the 10th best defense in the league. I think you start the defense. Maybe the kicker. Do I want to start Jerome Ford? I don't know. Maybe Amari Cooper. I think Cooper isn't a bad move, and Jerry Jeudy. I still think Cooper and Ford are your best bets to start with that defense.
Yeah, I think Cooper, Ford. I would still start Jeudy. It looks like Judy's getting the bulk of the yards. I mean, Cooper is not far behind him, but Cooper's got the 2 touchdowns. Watson, I think Brown should listen to fantasy owners and just bench him. 4 touchdowns with 3 interceptions the first 4 weeks, not looking good. Again, the defense, can't go wrong with the defense if you got to start them. I would probably look at it and see what kind of points they are going to get before I decide to start them. On the Washington side of things, you're looking at possibly Rookie of the Year candidate. Daniels right off the bat, just granted, 3 touchdowns to 1 interception. He's got a couple of nice rushes there. 4 touchdowns there, so he's doing it on the ground. I like the running quarterback, so I'm starting Daniels. Robinson Jr. definitely start him. McLaurin, the receiver, I probably start him because he's got 2 of the 3 touchdowns that Daniels is throwing. And I probably start the defense because we just stayed the Browns. There ain't much to start if you don't have to, but I think that's the way I'm going. How about you?
Yeah, I'm starting Daniels. I completely agree. I think Daniels right now is the front runner for Rookie of the Year. It's weird to say that the Washington offense is the 6th best offense in the league. Yeah,
Yep.
They got their 3rd down. It's just the only thing their category they're double digits in is passing yards, and they're 12th.
Yeah.
So that should tell you exactly what Washington is right now. Eckler, I think, is a game time decision with a concussion. But even if you're not, even if you got Eckler and Brian Robinson, you get a chance to start both possibly.
Robinson is questionable right now on the injury report. I just saw that.
Either one of them is going to be good. You got to remember this is the third best rushing offense in the league.
Yep.
Going against the 19th best rushing defense in the league. So you start any running back that's going to be playing for the Commanders at this point. You start McLaurin. I think you start Zach Ertz at tight end. You start the defense because the Browns are they don't know what's going on in their own in their own stadium, let alone what's going on with their own team half the time.
Yeah.
And you start the kicker.
All right, we go to the preview of the maybe NFC title game or AFC title game. We got the Bills at 3-1 versus the Texans at 3-1. What do you got for the Bills on who you start against this Texans team?
I'm starting Josh Allen. I'm going to jinx him. He hasn't had an interception yet this year, so he may have just got his jinx. I'm starting the running game. I'm starting James Cook. I don't know at this point. Do I which wide receiver do I want to start right now? I know Shakir is the leader, but Keon Coleman, I'm still waiting for him to make his move. Definitely start Dalton Kincaid. Start the Bills defense, and then I think you're starting the kicker too.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Allen. I was just looking at some of his stats here. Yeah, I think you start him. Yeah, we don't want to get into jinxes. It's like the no hitter jinx. You don't talk about it, but I think you start Cook. I think you start Allen. You start Kincaid. Well, you got Sharier. I think you definitely start him. The defense, on the other hand, I don't think I start them because I think this Houston team is racking up, get ready to show what they can do. And speaking of that, on the Houston side, I think you go with Stroud. I think he has not, knock on wood, hit that sophomore jinx that everybody had. So I think you start him. Mixon, if you got to start Mixon, I think you do.
Mixon still hasn't practiced. Isn't practiced.
Has not practiced? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so maybe that's one you watch. Who else is there? You got to start Collins. You got to start Diggs. Tank Dell.
Dell's questionable too.
Yep. So I'd probably hold off of that, but I think those are the guys you start. And I think you start the defense because the defense is still rock solid. I think they're gonna have their coming out party soon. So I think that's the way you go. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you definitely start CJ Stroud. I think this is going to be a huge test for CJ. I can't remember who's the backup because Pierce is still out. Mixon might not play. I can't remember there's a third running back and there's a name
there.
There's a name there too, and that's
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong team.
It's
so you got Mixon, you got Akers.
You got Cam Akers.
Yep.
I think you start Akers, you start Nico Collins, you start Stefon Diggs. You start, I think, not Nico Collins, but Tank Dell being hurt. I think he may still be on a pitch count come Sunday, especially against a defense like Buffalo. I think you definitely want to start Buffalo's or the Texans defense because it's the sixth best defense in the league.
Uh-huh.
They're fourth against the run, or fourth against the pass, 13th against the run. Definitely start the defense, start the kicker. I have a feeling like kicker is going to be big in this game. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. So, all right, we get the Panthers 1-3. We got the Bears at 2-2. I don't know if there's much to start with the Panthers, but we'll start with you. What are the Panthers?
Oh, I don't know. I think the only guy I'm starting at this point, I don't even know if I'm starting that guy. God, I look at it, and I looked last week. I got so many points from Chuba Hubbard and Mike Sanders and Deontay Johnson, and this week I'm going to go. I don't think I'm going to start anybody. It's still Carolina. I don't think I start anybody. Maybe the kicker.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go against you. I mean, I know the Bears have had historical good defenses. I think you start Hubbard. I think, I don't think the passing game's going to be much, but I think they're going to get it on the ground with Hubbard. So Hubbard and the defense and the kicker are definitely my solid starts for them. For the Bears, do we start, just looking here, I want to start Williams, but I just can't because he's just not doing it. Yeah, he's getting it. Swift, can be a good back out of the backfield too. I think you start Swift, and I think you start, because they spread around. If you got flex positions, I think this is where you put in more in a doozy. Kermit, I think, and even Swift, I think maybe those are your flex guys this week because you just never know where they're going to get the balls at. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm definitely starting Swift. Like you said, I think Cole Kmet has come out and has been an absolute monster for Chicago. I think he's been the guy that they needed. I think his coming out party this season was against the Colts. I didn't expect that. DJ Moore is a start, I want to say, and I think Adunze is going to be a good start too. The defense, it's Carolina.
Yeah.
Last year I would have been snap saying to start the defense. It's the Chicago. It's got to the point where they're getting to where they need to be like they were last year, the 11th best defense in the league. I think you start the defense. 11th best defense against the 26th best offense. Yeah, I think you start the defense and then you start the kicker.
All right. Let's get moving on to Arizona 1-3 gets the Niners 2-2. Niners definitely not the team we thought they were going to be, but Arizona, what do you got?
I think you start Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if McBride is going to be starting. Especially with everybody that's supposed to be back. I'd start. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this rush defense. Because you think about it, that this is the fifth best rushing offense in Arizona going up against the sixth best rushing defense in the 49ers. This is going to be a good game just on the rushing side aspect alone. I give Connor a shot. I think I give James Conner a shot. The passing isn't what I like it to be, but I think that's going to change. I don't know if I'm starting Kyler. I just never really. I'm still not a big Kyler guy. I think I'm starting Marvin Harrison and maybe McBride if McBride's healthy, and I'm not starting the defense because it's still San Francisco. No matter if they are 2-2, I'm starting the kicker.
Okay. I'm starting Kyler if I'm going up against Harrison or if I have Harrison. Because you look at the stats, he's got 6 touchdowns. 4 of them have been to Harrison. So I'm going to start Kyler Murray, especially if I'm going against him. Connor, I think, is also a big start this week. Outside that, I don't think there's much to go for. I'm with you. I'm not starting the defense. And of course, the kicker's always, hit or miss, unless you got a solid kicker. With that being said, the 49ers side of things.
Who am I not starting?
Yeah, I think this is one week where you're going to start Purdy. You're going to start Mason for sure. I know there's been rumblings that now everybody's talking about when CMC comes back.
November.
You start Jennings. I think you start Jennings and Kittle for sure. And then you start the defense because that defense is still solid. So what's your thoughts?
I'm starting Purdy. I'm starting Jordan Mason. That kid has been a stud ever since CMC went down. I think he's third or fourth in the league in rushing. He's already got 447 yards. I think you start Ayuk. I don't see Samuel on the injury report.
He is second overall in rushing yards behind Henry.
Jeez. So I think I'm starting. Excuse me. Debo Samuel. I think I'm starting Ayuk. I'm starting Kittle. I even think I'm starting, like you said, I think I'm starting Jawan Jennings too. I have Jawan Jennings in some leagues. Definitely, I think I'm definitely going to be starting the defense, and you definitely start the kicking team.
Oh. All right, just a little breaking news here. I know we're a football show, but WNBA Atlanta Dreams fire head coach Tiasha Wright after first round exit. I know we're
Really?
not much of a WNBA team, but yeah, that's kind of shocking. You make the playoffs, first round exit. I don't know what the record was, but kind of shocking there. All right, so got the cut. So we'll go to the Packers 2-2 versus the Rams 1-3. All right. Disappoint your family, disappoint my family. Who you playing, who you not playing?
I think you start Jordan Love. I think he was just shaking rust off. I think you can't hold last week's game against him.
But he showed what he could do. I mean,
yeah, and he showed he can do something. I think you start. I want to make sure what we're looking at for rushing defense. You start the rushing. Yeah. You start Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs against the 32nd best rushing defense in the league. I think you start. I definitely think you're starting Josh Jacobs. You're starting Jaden Reed. Outside of that, Romeo Dobbs from last year seems to have just disappeared. I know he's got 169 yards, but I thought he was going to have more at this point. And I think and I noticed this in our league that in our league there, and a lot of fantasy people are picking the tight end Kraft as their tight end. I think that's not a bad pickup. I don't know if I'm starting the defense though. The 22nd best defense against the 18th best offense. I don't know if I start the defense on that one, unless you're hoping for the interception, because I think there's a guy on Green Bay that has had 4 interceptions in 4 consecutive games. I start the kicker. I start the kicker too.
Yeah, for me, I think you're not wrong. I think you load up on offense. If Love and the Packers could do what they did to the Vikings in the second half, yeah, you're going to get some points big time on them. Defense, God, Rams are hurting though. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad start if you have to. But yeah, I don't know if I would be my first option. See what's on the waiver wire or something like that.
They wouldn't be my first option either. I'd take Denver before I take Green Bay.
Yeah. On the Rams side of things, you got Stafford, but again, you don't have his weapons there. Atwell, seems to be doing pretty good, but he hasn't got any touchdowns. Stafford's only throwing 2 touchdowns in 4 weeks, so that's kind of concerning. Williams, the running back, I'd probably start him. He's got 5 touchdowns, so that's where they'll, so I say Williams is probably my for sure start. Stafford, I would probably start him if I'm going up against Atwell, but again, it's probably one of those, let me see what my other options are first before I think about that. But and I don't think I start the Rams defense. So what's your thoughts?
I think the only thing I'm starting out of that whole thing is Kyren Williams in a flex spot. I'm not taking the Rams defense, who's 31st in the league against the third best offense in the league. That's just not going to happen because the Rams could get embarrassed.
Yep. All right. So let's go to the 1-3 New York Giants versus the 3-1 Seattle. Another kind of surprise for Seattle. What do you got for the Giants?
I'm looking at it. Daniel Jones is throwing yardage, but his problem is he's not doing anything with it. He's got I just saw this. He's got 4 touchdowns, and he's thrown 3 of them to Malik Neighbors.
Yep.
I should tell you exactly who you should be taking at this point. I think I'd be taking Malik Neighbors. I'm not taking that. I'm not. That defense is only the 12th best defense, though. Again, Seattle's been playing so iffy too lately.
Yeah.
If you're trying to fill, I think if you're filling a hole for a bye week, the Giants isn't a bad idea. It's just because the Giants are the defense is the only thing that's keeping those teams in that game. Maybe, and the kicker.
Yeah. Yeah, you look at it. I don't think you have Danny Dimes starting. I have Neighbors starting, like you said. If Danny Dimes is throwing a touchdown, it's going to Neighbors. So, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have a better starter than Danny Dimes. So, I don't even think I would play him, even if I'm going up against Neighbors. I think Singletary is another decent start in a flex spot. But, yeah, and I'm starting the defense because, like you said, defense has kind of held them into the game. So, I think those are my three plays there. Next game, we got the Cowboys.
Who do you have for Seahawks?
Oh, I'm sorry. Seahawks, yes. Seahawks. Let's see here. Oh, Geno Smith, he's got the yardage. He's getting some touchdowns, but he's got the picks. Walker the third, I think, is a solid start. He's got 4. Actually, both of their running backs could be a pretty decent start. That's where they're getting a lot of their touchdowns from. Metcalf, I think Metcalf would be my guy starting on the offensive side. He's got the, 2 of the 4 touchdowns. So, yeah, I think I go Smith if I had to, Walker and Corbett. If I need them in a flex, Walker for sure. The other running back, start him in a flex spot, because he seems like he's getting some carries and some touchdowns. Metcalf is a for sure start. Defensive side of things, again, if we got to, it is the Giants, so that might be a solid play there because it is the Giants. What do you think?
I think you start Smith, but like you said, the thing that makes you worry so much, he's got the yards, he's got 4 touchdowns. It's those 4 picks that make you really worry. They do have what I want to say is the 6th best passing. No, they have the first best passing offense in the league.
Yep.
It's that yardage thing. I think you start Kenny Williams or Kenny Walker the third. Charbonnet if it's a pinch spot. DK Metcalf is a definite start. I'm not sure. I know Jackson and Jigba Smith isn't on the path on Jackson Smith and Jigba is not on the injury report, but I don't see him on there. If he's available, take him, have him, play him. Again, we're talking about the number 1 pass offense going up against the 14th best pass defense. I start the defense. It's still the Giants. And I'm starting the kicker.
All right. Now let's get into the Dallas Cowboys at 2-2 against another surprise team early, 3-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. Tim, you got Dallas. What do you think?
Golly. I still think you start Dak. I think you start CD. Oh, man. I don't know if I start the defense. I really don't.
I like their defense too.
The kicker is huh?
I
don't like their defense.
Last year their defense was good. This year they're struggling. I do.
Yeah, they're struggling. They're 24th. Take the kicker. Outside of that, Dak and CD are probably your 2 plays.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Dak and CD Lamb for sure. Because he's got, Dak's got 6 touchdowns to 2 picks. 2 of those touchdowns going to CD. I think that's it. I think you're right. I think that's your for sure starts for the Cowboys. Pittsburgh side of things, a surprise 3-1. Man, Fields is coming around. They're finally putting some offense on there. If I don't have another quarterback, or if I'm in a league where I can start 2 quarterbacks for whatever reason, this might be a league where a game I start Fields in, because he has 6 touchdowns, 3 passing, 3 rushing, and that is their only offensive weapon. Pickens has yet to get a touchdown, but he's got some yards. I start the Dallas or Pittsburgh's defense. I like their defense. Like Watt, I think we start them up there. What do you think?
I think Fields. I've seen Fields enough over the last 4 years now.
Yeah.
And last week was the most impressed I was with Justin Fields. His head was in the game. He made some stupid mistakes, but it's just stupid mistakes. His receivers didn't help him out. Pickens didn't help him out any at all. I know he got the yards last week, but he fumbled that football early in the game. That was really, really crucial, and they didn't really need it. I take Fields. I'm not taking Pickens at the wide receiver spot. The guy I'm taking Freiermuth, their tight end, because they find him, and there's another tight end there that's huge. That came up huge. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. And Austin was huge in that game against Indy last week. I'm taking the defense. I don't think Dallas hasn't seen a defense like this all season. Yeah, I know we're talking week 5 and we're talking about all season, but we're talking about the 4th best. We're talking about the 4th best defense in the league.
Washington's the other defense that other tight end you're talking about.
Which one?
Washington.
Yeah, that kid's a monster. He's like 6'8". He's like an offensive lineman running down the field.
Yep.
And he hurdled, and it was the weirdest thing is he hurdled a guy on the sidelines, and I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I take the defense. I think I'm starting the kicker too. Boswell.
Right.
Barneswell.
Last game of the what's that?
I'm trying to remember the name of the kicker. I think it's Boswell or Barneswell.
All right. So Monday night, last game of the week, we got the Saints at 2-2, Chiefs 4-0. What do you got for the Saints?
We talked about Derek Carr playing out of his skull the first 2 games, and all of a sudden it seems like he's disappeared.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm taking him against Kansas City. I'm taking Kamara because Kamara seems like the only one that's been consistent all season. Olave's not a bad play. I would take Olave and Shaheed, because Shaheed came out of nowhere. I think Taysom Hill is hurt again. If I'm not mistaken, Taysom Hill is questionable with the rib.
Yeah, he is questionable.
I don't know if I'm taking that defense either. I'm not taking the defense. I'll take the kicker.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, Kamara's just solid play, 5 touchdowns in 4 games. Olave's got a couple. Rashid's, like you said, stepped up with 3 touchdowns. Kamara also has 2 receiving touchdowns, so Kamara is definitely a big play. Olave and Shaheed are definitely playable. Defense, definitely not. On the Chiefs side of things, they're battling some injuries. They just had Rice go down. So I still think you play Mahomes, but he's 6 touchdowns, 5 picks right now. The running game, I don't know if as much as Pacheco's out too, so I think that's kind of if you need to start them, but you better hope that they get some points going. Defensive side, Worthy has gotten 2 of those 6 touchdowns. Kelsey has yet to score, so Kelsey might be a sneaky play. hopefully getting that touchdown. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like I remember we talked about earlier about guys you have to play. Patrick Mahomes was one of those guys early. I think this is a pinch play. If you're in a pinch, I think Patrick Mahomes is a pinch play.
Okay.
You're starting Patrick. Anybody who's in their right mind is still starting Patrick, no matter what I say. I don't start Carson Steele. He just doesn't have enough. I think the fact is they lost Rice is going to be a big factor to Patrick Mahomes, and that was friendly fire. Have you seen the replay to that injury?
No.
The person who hits him is Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, take a look at that replay, and it's Mahomes that hits him right on the knee. I think with Rice being out, I think this is where Xavier Worthy steps up, and eventually Kelsey's going to start getting points.
Yeah. And
when is it going to be? For fantasy football players, they were kind of hoping it was week 1. We're now in week 5, and he's not got the points that they want.
Yep.
I think the defense is an okay play. I don't think it's a great play, but I think it's an okay play. And I think you start the kicker.
All right. So that's our plays, not plays. Now we're going to get into the fun fantasy league team. Tim has taken 2 wins. I have yet to win. The computer teams each have a win, so we are struggling on my side. This week, I'm just going to name off some teams, and we're going to pick players we just typically would not play, based on our – yeah. All right. So at quarterback, oh, man. The 4 teams I'm going to throw out there for quarterback-wise, we'll let us decide for the computer. I am going to go with Burrow you would play. All right. I'll throw out Cincinnati, the Raiders, Daniels, and I'll go Baker Mayfield. So first, let's do the computer 4 team. Who are we giving them? I say we go on Burrow. Joey B.
Yeah, give him Burrow.
All right, Joey B.
I'm going to really regret what I'm going to say out of my mouth soon.
All right. For me, out of those, I'm going to take Baker Mayfield.
Take Baker.
All right. Team 4, between Oakland or the Washington team.
Please fall in my lap.
Washington has
Jaden Daniels.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm talking about the Raiders, I was thinking.
Gardner Minshew.
Minshew or Daniels? Who do we want to give to that team? Well,
if this makes you feel any better, when you said those 4 teams, I was already thinking myself for Gardner Minshew.
All right, we'll go Daniels, and we'll give you Minshew.
This is the don't get cocky kid type of stuff.
All right, at running back,
okay.
I'll go with the Cardinals.
Oh man,
I'll go with the Bears with Swift. I will go. I'll go Tennessee.
Pollard.
And I'll go with New England.
So I'll make sure I got Gardner Minshew team.
All right. So for me, I'll pick first this time. I'm gonna go with Connor. I would normally not start him, but I'll go Connor for the Cardinals. Tim, you had the last pick. What do you got this pick?
Who's left?
Who did I say? I took the Cardinals.
Just the team.
Now I'm trying to think of who I took. New England, Tennessee, and who is the Bears with Swift.
I wouldn't normally take. I would take Swift. I don't know if I take Stevenson, but I definitely wouldn't take Pollard. So give me Pollard.
Pollard
for Tennessee.
Pollard. Okay. I will say that with Team 3. Let's give them Stevenson for New England, and then Swift with Joey B.
I have a feeling I'm getting a muddle stomped in this week.
All right. At wide receiver, we got the Jets. We got the Browns.
Browns, great.
We got the Chargers. And then our fourth team.
I know the Chargers.
I'll go Atlanta with the fourth team. Tim, I'll let you pick first.
I'm going to go Chargers, and I'm going to say Lad McConkey. But they're bye week this week.
Are the Chargers bye week this week?
Well, they're bye this week.
Oh, okay. I forgot about the bye
Well,
week.
Tennessee is too.
Oh, Tennessee is too, so Pollard's out.
Like,
Good studying up, Tim. All right, so
I have to think about who's all out. Detroit.
let's go. We'll go Jacksonville running back for you.
The thing is, I would start him because I am starting him, I think.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm starting Travis Etienne.
Oh, well. All right, we'll put him in there.
I'll take Travis.
All right, for Jacksonville.
Etienne.
All right, so who did I say for receivers? Jets. We know our players.
The Jets are the Jets playing?
Yeah, that's why Minnesota. Yep. You
have to replace the Chargers.
Replace the Chargers. Who do I want to replace? Let's go with Denver. Denver playing?
Oh, yeah, Denver's playing. Why Denver? Holy hell! Now I got to think about who's Denver playing.
I think
we talked about Denver too.
Denver's playing the Raiders.
Did we talk about that game?
Pretty sure we did.
Wait, we talked about that game. Denver. Who am I taking in Denver? Okay, give me a second. I want to take a look at who I wouldn't take in Denver. Denver. I wouldn't start half the roster as it is.
And the fourth team will be the Rams to replace the Chargers.
Oh, give me Cortland Sutton. I wouldn't start that. I wouldn't start that guy if your life depended on it.
So we'll give Team 3, we'll give them the Jets. And I would typically not start
Alan Lazard.
All right, we would go Alan Lazard.
Alan Lazard.
I will take
Alan Lazard.
The Rams receiver that I typically would not start.
Demarcus Robinson.
God.
Because
but you look at it, I mean, honestly, I would not start Atwater, even though he got the yards. Atwell, yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't start Atwell either.
And then who was the 14 we said?
I don't remember.
All right, we'll go Cleveland. So Cleveland, if we were stacked for Team 4, God, they both got good numbers. I'll go Cooper because I think Judy would oversee Cooper for Team 4.
Yeah.
All right, tight ends.
Golly, I'm starting Brock Bauer too.
Let's see here. We'll go Phillies tight end.
Phillies on a bye.
Okay.
We've now touched all but one of the teams that are on a bye.
All right. You know what? I'm just going back to the schedule here. You know what? We'll go Atlanta. We'll go.
I would start Pitts. That's the problem.
Kittle, we would start. I'll go Seattle.
Oh, I don't even know who their tight end is.
I'll go the Cowboys.
I don't know who their tight end is.
And if Hill is out, well, no, because if Hill's playing, you're starting Hill. We'll go the Packers tight end.
Kraft?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I have not. Oh, no, I did have first pick. So Team 4, you know what? Why don't we just give them Kraft over there?
Because we only know their name. That's because the only one we know the name of.
Kraft at tight end. All right. So, Tim, I'll give you the next pick out of the teams that are left.
Give me Schoonmaker out of Dallas.
Oh, you would go with that guy, Dallas. Okay. I am going to go with Pitts because you wouldn't start him because he's struggling, but I think this is going to be the game. And so Seattle, we stuck with team 3. I don't know who the tight end is offhand.
I'll give it a look. I'm looking
right now too. Faint. F-A.
Oh yeah, nobody's starting Faint.
Yeah. So with that being said, again, guys.
No. There's a guy by the name of there's a guy on Seattle named Tyler Mabry.
He hasn't even got any stats.
And we wouldn't start him.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't start him, but guys that are starting, I mean,
he's signed with the practice squad, so he's definitely not.
Yeah. So again, that's the Couch Fantasy Zone. Hour and 10 minutes or so. Tim, final thoughts.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody for watching. Shardall, thanks for coming on and watching. Don't be afraid to watch the rest of our great programs. Come back and watch. Like I said on our earlier show this morning for me this afternoon, to watch the morning tailgate with all of Bacon and I and half of Brandon. I know, and he came back and said that that we were all there. I don't know. Every one of us that do these shows, I don't think we're always all there. So
no.
Then come back next Tuesday for the C2C Rankum.
Hopefully it's a better show this time.
Always a better show.
Yeah.
And then meet us right back here, same bat channel, same bat time, for the Couch Fantasy Zone, and hopefully we benefit you somehow on this show.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing this just for fun, throwing out our semi-knowledge, and sometimes it's just darting on, throw darts on the wall, see what sticks. But I enjoy doing this. Later today, hopefully, Sportsman will be back. I know we'll be talking, if they are, we'll be talking some baseball. I'll pass up Pete Rose, Dikembe Mutombo for sure. What do we got kicking it? We got Entertainment Hour with Big Game James, with Chris, with the Repo Man himself, Dragon Viper. With that being said, on deck 2, get the playoff show going. So with that being said, we'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.